Girls in Texas podcast. This is episode 10. Today is Sunday, January 31st. All hands on board.
We're double digits now. That's exciting.
Yeah. So welcome back if you're a returning viewer, and welcome if you're a new viewer as well.
Yeah.
We hope that if you're new, you'll take the time to subscribe, and when you're finished watching this, if you liked what you saw, if you could give us a thumbs up, it really helps us. We're trying to grow our channel, and we're trying to figure out ways to do that. So we really appreciate it, and we appreciate your time here today.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
I'm Carrie.
Oh, I'm Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
And we're coming to you from San Antonio, Texas.
Yes.
We're at Melissa's house today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful day here. It's sunny, mid-60s. It's just
68.
it's just a gorgeous day.
It's a nice day.
Yep, beautiful. So I hope wherever you're at, you're having good weather as well. I know the Midwest and East Coast is about ready to get slammed with a blizzard. So.
I think they are.
Yeah, bad. So. Okay. So, what are you wearing, Carrie? Carrie looks magnificent today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I dressed just for this shawl. This is my Hypernova. So that's the name of the pattern. It has many nicknames that might have cuss words in it, might not, but this is Miss Babs Katydin, which you just bought a bunch of Katydin. This is in the Perfectly Reckless colorway. I loved knitting this. I knit this 7 years ago, long time ago, and this is probably only the third time I've ever worn it. So I definitely don't wear it as often as I should. So.
It's really well suited for that yarn.
It really is.
It really highlights the yarn.
Yeah, it really is.
Makes me want to make
I know.
I actually have another skein of Katydin in a variegated colorway called Wolf's Den, and I think I'm going to make I've started another one of these, you know, with it, because I just think this pattern is perfect for a really busy yarn like this, and it just looks really.
I wouldn't have thought that. I wouldn't guess that.
I wouldn't have guessed it either, because there's several in solid that it really pops out. You know, a multiple variegated. You know, it doesn't pool. That's for sure. You know, there's going to be no pooling in this sucker. So
it's really pretty. Cute. Okay.
It's 1,400 yards. So it's a big project. Yeah.
I did mine in like a cobweb lace, and oh my gosh, we did nickname it the thread bitch, because it was like we were knitting with thread. It was horrible, but the finished product was beautiful.
It was,
and I have worn it.
This one's a little bit heavier of a lace. I mean, I think Katydin is classified as a heavy lace.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mine ended up like bugs got in it, so I ended up throwing it.
Oh man, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, because we were living in a lake house and there's so many bugs, and I think I accidentally threw it in the wash, and then I pulled it out, and then I just started looking at it, and it's full of
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like,
that's terrible.
So make another one with me.
Yeah. As if we don't have enough going.
No.
Yeah, as if we don't have enough going on right now. Exactly.
I'll have to pencil that in.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wearing my Love Note sweater,
Gorgeous.
which is very cropped by Tin Can Knits.
Super cute.
I knit it in Shibui birch base in the color Bone, and then I held it with Suburban Stitcher Silky Mohair in the color Predictability. So it's a kind of a creamy.
This is your second one that you made?
This is the first one I made.
This is the first one.
Kind of like a bone color underneath, and then the mohair just puts like a kind of purple mauve halo over the top of it.
Very pretty.
So it's very lightweight, airy. I like it. I get a lot of wear out of it. So that's what I'm wearing. How about you?
This is my FO as well.
Yay!
This is my weekender.
So great.
It looks fabulous.
I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. The funny thing is I realized that I did the purling, the ribbing wrong on it. It's supposed to be knit one furl when I did knit two furl two.
Oh,
Well, it doesn't matter.
yeah. I wouldn't have noticed if you hadn't pointed it out.
But it's very buttery soft. I love it. It's like the perfect cuddle sweater.
Yeah.
And that's Malabrigo?
Yes, Rio.
Rio's.
It's really pretty. The color is gorgeous.
And yeah, I did have to order another skein, but I can't really tell even
No,
what,
you really can't.
No, you
what
can't.
it came from.
Mhm.
So.
Good job. That's like a great weekend to just throw over any kind of sweater. Ah, that's the weekender. So smart.
My people have made it because it's such a good pattern.
Yeah, it is a great
It's
pattern.
mindless. It's good.
I love mine. Really good. Really good. Okay, do you have any other finished objects?
Yes. A couple weeks ago, a lady at my gym, she's like, "You don't have to do this, but I really love handmade things." And I'm like, "Well, if you're gonna love it, then I gotta make it for you, right?" So she was wearing some workout pants that look like jeggings. She's like, "Can you make it something that looks like this, where it's a little bit rustic, a little bit grungy?" And I'm like, "I have no idea, but I'll try."
I think you nailed it.
So, my daughter and I were sitting there, we just went to Walmart just goofing off or whatever, and then I saw this. This one is Lion Brand Mandala Ombres. So I grabbed this.
It's very pretty.
This is color Cool 201. So this is
What's it made of? What's the
it's acrylic.
solid color? It's nice though. It's really pretty.
It is. I feel like craft store, hobby stores, even though yarn has improved so much since we started knitting, it's kind of crazy. So this is the barley hat. I pretty much knit it in like a day. It was pretty fast. Free pattern by Tin Can Knits. And then this is a snap off. Pom-pom. Yes. Also, while making this, make sure if you decide to make this, make sure you measure for the crown decreasing on the stockinette side, not on the garter stitch, because the garter stitch is a little bit shorter. So it gets
that's
really
a good
big.
tip.
It gets really slouchy. This is the beanie size. This is not the extra inch for the slouchy side, and it's still pretty slouchy. So,
Very cute. I think you nailed it. Have you shown it to her yet? Or
I showed her my Instagram picture. I don't know why I was so worried she wouldn't like it, because she had no idea what yarn or what pattern I was doing or anything. But she's like, "I love it."
Good.
So it was good.
Good.
Yep.
Well, I don't have too many finished objects. I finished a pair of socks that I gifted. I sent them to my girlfriend Christina in New Jersey. Well, actually Philadelphia. She lives in Philly. But
Audrey can insert a picture.
yeah, I will insert a picture. So they're out of Suburban Stitcher yarn in the Hurricane colorway, so it's kind of like blues and grays. Really pretty. And she's not a knitter, and she sees all my stuff on Instagram and Facebook, and she always comments. And so she's been locked down for almost a year. And she started a new job last February.
Wow.
She only worked for 2 weeks before they went into lockdown, and she made one sales call in almost a year. And so, yeah, mentally that's hard on a salesperson.
I would think so.
And you know, fortunately her company has stuck with her, but yeah, the
It's gotta be rough.
stress of it is very hard. So anyway, I sent those socks off to her. And then the other thing I finished are these fingerless gloves, which I had purchased this yarn last year. It's
Ooh, I like the way they
Eco
look.
Cashmere, and they're
Very
just,
pretty.
the pattern is called the Rolled Edge Fingerless Knits by Sharon Anhalt, and it's a pattern on Ravelry. Super easy, finish them, you know, in a few hours, and you can make them longer or whatever. And I like them because they just roll. So if you want to cover your fingers further.
What size lane is this?
This is worsted, I believe.
Worsted?
I think it's worsted. I think it's PK. I can't remember.
I was just
It's in
wondering.
the
I think
Art
it
Project
would
page.
be good for hand spun as well.
Yeah, I think it's worsted.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so finally finished those. I had made them last year as gifts for my mom and my sister, and I had yarn for mine and just never had time. And this year I thought, I really need those gloves.
You've had some chilly days.
Yeah,
We have.
for walking the dogs, they're really good. So that's it. That's all I have that's finished.
I have a couple of finished objects, but most of them are going to be in pictures. So, of course, I finished Darlene's sweater, but it's already been her birthday. So Audrey will insert a picture, and she loves it, thank God. And then I finished that wrap, that Perfect Pockets wrap in that like electric blue style colorway. I have a picture that Audrey can insert, and I mailed it to my author friend in Florida. So it's been delivered, but it was delivered to her neighbor's house.
Oh,
She
gosh.
doesn't know why. And So anyway, I think they're coming, the neighbor isn't, like, was there to receive the package, but isn't there now, and so they're coming back tomorrow, so she should get it tomorrow, but anyway.
Nice.
So I have that to insert. And then I have, it's a finished object, but it's kind of a hoe. So there's one more picture that I sent for Audrey to insert, and it's some dishcloths and pot holders that I made Paige when Paige bought her first house in 2017. And I made her some dish towels that were like dark gray and light gray with some slip stitches. And then I made her some pot holders that were Knit Picks dishy multi. And now she wants to change all the colors in her kitchen. So this is her first pot holder. This is the cup and saucer. This is also stash enhancements. Because I'm usually really good with my yarn diet, but when somebody asks me for something like a specific project, and she's like, but I need blues, and I had 0 blue. I'm not a blue person, so I had 0 blue. So yes, I broke my yarn diet, but I don't actually count it because it's like going to get used up super fast.
And it wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It's for
I don't think
Paige,
that counts either.
Yeah, so it's just this is
We
the
will
pattern.
We will grant you a pardon.
Thank you. I've been
I mean,
pardoned.
technically I bought yarn for the two, but.
You're pardoned as well. But
Okay,
you're
You're
already
in
in jail.
Okay, I know.
You're already trying to get everybody to drink your water.
Does January 3rd ring a bell? Watch
anyway.
our previous episode for that one.
Yeah, so anyway, so I have that, and then as part of the whips, you'll get to see that the next one. I think those are all my, that's my FOs, so, good job.
Good. How about whip? What are you working on? Roll this up.
Okay, so this one was the shawl I am doing for Allie of Savvy Teen. And I think before I hadn't added the second color, so it's gone. Oh, I'm liking it.
Nice.
It looks great.
And what's the
The
name of
rows
that
are getting,
pattern?
the rows are getting long.
Color Courage.
Color courage.
It's Lakeside
Yarn.
Yarn.
Show it again.
Good that I'm fading out because this one's getting small.
Oh yeah, that one is getting small.
And then let me
The
rub
colors
my-
are so pretty. Quick. So pretty.
Okay. So because you guys were giving me a little bit of crap about me buying yarn,
No.
I decided just to cast it on because if it doesn't go physically in the stash, right? It doesn't count
Oh,
like that.
if it never goes in the stash, it's
Yes,
never
is
Is
stashed.
that how it works?
That's how it's working in my mind.
Whatever it takes.
That's what it's gonna take.
You just keep telling yourself that.
That's perfect.
Okay, so I cast on a little sweater for my
Aw.
nephew will be a year next month.
Aw,
This is the
it's a perfect
antler
one.
cardigan,
Oh, cute.
and this is one sleeve. And it's so tiny, and it's like 30 some stitches, so
It's like
It's
a sock.
It's a little sock, and I'm like, oh, I want to put it down.
Super cute.
And this is Barocco Vintage, but I don't remember the colorway, and for some reason I can't find a ball band. So,
We'll link it in the project notes,
so
right?
it's not, I didn't cheat.
Is it in your resume?
I just added it before
Okay.
I got here.
Well, it'll be in there.
And then I'm in a Facebook group called American something or other about quilting, and they basically take like 12 numbers, and then you put whatever whips you have in those numbers. So for January, I said I want to finish my weekender, and then I wanted to finish this quilt for my husband's coworker, but I only got to the part where I started quilting it, so it's not done.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's really nice.
So this is for my husband's coworker. It's called the Snack Time Quilt. I'm still in the I had some machine snafus, so I'm still in the process of quilting it with the walking foot. It's gonna take me a while, but it's getting there. So I'll keep on working on it this month, and then February I think I'm gonna work on my backpack that I started a while back, and then I'll probably add for my knit project that little sweater for my nephew. So
What if you have more than 12 whips?
A lot of people do.
Thank you, that makes me feel better.
Carrie's sweating bullets over here.
Put it on next
I
year.
need about 58 months in a year.
She'll create 12 IDs for the group. Different
Multiple,
aliases.
people have different lists for different, how far they are along in their projects and
Okay.
other things. It's kind of just go as you want.
Sure.
Try to help you get things finished.
I get it.
It's just like encouraging each
anything,
other.
anything
Yeah.
that helps, anything that you find helps.
Yeah. Get some stuff finished.
Good. Well, I am working on a sample knit for Allie from Savvy Skeins as well. I didn't bring it last time. I did today.
It's your favorite stitch.
It's done. The pattern is called, what is my pattern called? Oh goodness, I thought I wrote it down. One moment. Layered cake. Layer cake. Layer cake.
By like side yarn
By-
as well.
Yeah.
That's
It's
cute.
It's like a triangular shawl in 2 layers that you then connect together. And the top layer is
really good too.
yeah, cake does look good. The top layer is seed stitch, that's this green, and then the bottom layer is that fuchsia purple color, and that's in stockinette stitch. And then there's fringe that you knit in as you're going, and then you're going to drop stitches to create that fringe.
Oh, that's
So,
cool. That's
yeah,
neat.
that's a new technique for me, so I'm anxious to get to that part. But I'm working on the, excuse me, the seed stitch layer. It's just taking a bit of time. I don't know if anyone has these are these aluminum tubes that you can put your needles in. I love these things. So keep your work together in the bag. Here is, I just got
Wow.
to the
Wow.
turning point. So you are increasing as you start at the bottom, way down there, and then you're increasing with every row, and you go to like 140 stitches, and then you start decreasing. So this is actually going to become the fringe down here, so this will be the, like that's the center of the front.
Oh wow.
You've gotten a lot done.
You really have.
So I just started it this week, so try to make myself do
Almost
a
one
little,
whole skein gone.
every day. Yep.
And you have a little snowman on.
That's my little lock and loop progress keeper, the little.
I remember when you showed that.
Yeah. So darling, I'll show it again. It's so cute. So, and then this is the contrasting color. So this color is called, oh shoot, deep, what was it? This is Berry Crush, and it's in her Elite Sock base, which is 50% superwash merino and 50% silk, and it is a heavenly base. And I think this one is called Berry Crush.
Nightshade.
And this one's called Nightshade. I think it's a deep shade, but Nightshade. And it's like a tealy greens and like an emerald green, and then it's got some dark purple plum in it. It's really pretty.
Very pretty.
And this really is a good complement to it. So, pretty for black. So that's that.
And this sparkly pretty hosey.
Oh yeah, mine. It's in a very cute puppy bag. Doesn't match the project, but I like that bag. And Valentine's Day is coming up, so you know.
Perfect time to wear red.
And then also in my Hoagie Pumba bag,
Whoops, sorry.
You're
in
fine.
the dots, is my second love note.
Oh, you've gotten a lot done. That's
Which,
cute.
yeah, I could just crank this out and finish it, but I wanted to work on that shawl, so I had to put this down. I'll
Oh,
probably
you have
finish
a
it this
sheep on
week.
this.
Yeah,
Aw.
yeah, oh this. So I split for the sleeves, and I'm working on the body. I got a couple more, I'm gonna do maybe a couple more inches on the body, and then do the ribbing, and then the sleeves, and then you pick up and go back up the neck. So that's that, and it's in Julie Eslin. I thought it was rose gold, but it's not. It's called, the color is called Paprika, and it's on her Anatolia base, which is the kid mohair and silk, 60% mohair,
Oh, nice.
40% silk, and then the other base is the Fino, also in the color Paprika, and that is, excuse me, 75% merino, 15% cashmere, and 10% silk.
Ooh, that's really
It's
really
luscious.
nice.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's luscious. So.
Great to wear.
Yep. So hopefully I'll get that finished this week. I just need to give myself permission to work on it again.
Of course.
And then so sticking with my yarn diet, I've made it a whole entire month. I'm pretty proud of that fact. I'm going to try to go another month.
Yes. You're doing awesome.
In that vein, I'm trying to go back to like older projects that I have rather than just casting on new things. So several years ago, I don't know, most of you may remember this. I think it was one of our first yarn crawls. I had purchased this book from, it's called Juju's Loops. And I think I bought it when I was in Michigan. And it's just a really, really cute book. And there were some fingerless gloves in there called the Cedar Shake gloves.
Those are so
And Melissa,
pretty.
you actually helped me pick some yarn out from the Tinsmith's Wife. And I started these long ago. And I don't know, I was trying to do them on double points and I just couldn't do it. And so I had ripped them all out but I still knew I wanted them. But I just left them for years, literally years. So I pulled it back out.
Welcome to my world.
Pulled it back out and started it again.
Ooh.
So this is,
I love that color.
it's
It's a
Madeline
curious
Tosh.
color.
That is definitely
Yeah, it's
a
Madeline
Karen
Tosh. I think the color is called Saffron.
Oh, saffron. I have several shades.
It's a really pretty.
You can make up hers too.
So I just started it. I actually was further, and then I discovered last night that I actually had done the wrong chart.
Is this
I'm supposed to
soft
do-
yarn?
It's soft, yes.
Oh,
But
it's
it's
so
a
pretty.
cabley. It's going to be so pretty. So I'm doing them on my 9-inch, my Chigu 9-inch circulars, the interchangeable set that I have, which I think are called the minis or something. I don't know.
They're called the twists, right?
They're the mini.
Yeah,
mini twist thing.
Something like that.
Yeah, which I love, and I use one 3-inch tip and one 2-inch tip, and I'm able to go really quickly. So these are much easier for me to do than they were on the double point. Plus, I have years of knitting experience now, so it's a lot easier for
They
me.
cramp my hands. I have a hard
Yeah.
time with these tiny needles.
Yeah, a lot of people can't get used to them, but anyway, so that's
You
that.
have them finished super fast.
Yeah,
Yes,
hopefully,
you will.
hopefully by
Yes,
the
you
next
will.
podcast, I want those in my sweater done. So that's my goal. So those are my kind
Perfect.
of whips that are getting my attention. How about you, Carrie?
I have quite a few whips.
There's quite a few.
Are you surprised?
No, not at all.
Okay, so back to the stash / finished object. So I'm probably gonna make her like 3 more of these. This kicked out pretty quick, and it's in the Dishy Knit Picks Dishy multi, and it's the cups and saucers.
I really like that.
So Paige picked it. So.
I've never made a dishcloth. Can you believe
Never
that?
made a dishcloth?
No, I know. That's going to be on my list to do this year. I need to make a dishcloth.
Yes.
This is gonna be a dish towel.
That's what I'm afraid of.
That's
So,
pretty. I like that pattern.
Paige picked navy and blue. I mean, just 2 shades of blue.
Nice.
I honestly didn't think there was going to be enough contrast for this, but I'm really loving the way it's looking. This is just called the Slip Stitch Dish Towel. It's by Pearl Soho. It's free. They have like 3 patterns that are free. They all have like a little bit of a different type of slip stitch.
I think
This
I'm
just
gonna
makes a
take
column. And her second one will be the opposite. So I'll cast on, this one I cast on with the navy and then added the blue. And then the other one will be the actual inverted. And like I said, Audrey has a picture of her finished gray ones that I made about 4 years ago. And so this is going to be exactly like what she has in her kitchen now, just in different colors.
I really like that pattern.
So
And I love the low contrast.
yeah,
It's
and Paige
really
can-
sophisticated. I
Paige
like it.
has that vision.
Yeah.
She didn't get it from my side. That's for sure. So, but I would have never put those colors together,
Yeah.
but that's what she wanted, so I have those. Dish rag and a thing. Then I have my sweater that I'm working on. I finally got to join it in the rounds. And I love this. I love the yarn, I love the color, I love the pattern. It's the Granito sweater by Hoagie Locatelli. I've got a bunch of ends everywhere.
Wow, you made a lot of progress.
Yes.
So, this is it. So it's joined in the round, but I've barely got like a centimeter from the join. So
So pretty.
Just a little bit. And it has like these two lines. These are just slip stitches in the front here. It has the same lines in the back, but they do not match up, and that's on purpose. So if you make this and you realize that this slipped part does not line up with the back slip part, she puts a note in there. It's not supposed to.
They're not supposed to. Okay.
Yeah, they're not supposed to, because there's going to be pockets later,
Yep.
and I think the pockets have something to do with this, and if they were farther over, then the pockets would be too far behind you. So
That makes sense.
yeah, so this is the matchstick colorway in hedgehog sock matchstick.
Beautiful.
So I'm really enjoying it. I finally gotten to the point where it's just knitting around, which is my bread and butter. It's my favorite thing to do. So. And then I have my blanket, the monthly blanket that's made out of the Malabrigo Rios.
Yeah.
This is that Jimmy Bean's blanket club. It's called the Stained Glass Throw. And we're starting with this magenta color, this deep magenta right in here. And this is kind of interesting because if you look at it, has these increases that are driving me insane. Do you see that laddering going on there? I know it looks terrible, but there's a thread for this going on, and the designer has said that is on purpose. She said, if you'll pull it right where that's supposed to be and let it lay the way that the pattern is going to look later. See how it sucks it up?
Oh.
And so, I mean, you can still see it a little bit, but she said it's needed for the pattern later for some give. This is also just an extra like faux line, but this is where most of the increases are happening. And there's tons of people on there that are like, I'm going to change it to a make one left and make one right, and the designer's like, don't do it. So I'm having a little bit of like headspace problems with leaving these ladders, but I'm trusting. I've seen some people have it finished, and I'm just trusting the designer to go with it, and we'll see how the
blocking will.
I'm sure it's going to get some pull and stuff. So it's just kind of hard as you're knitting on it to see that. I mean, look at all that
Yeah,
space.
you look at it like, what am I doing wrong?
And it's just like, God, these increases are terrible. Well, the increases are meant to not have, you know, to not be sucked up in the rest of the, it's meant to have that
more
give.
visible.
So anyway, so working on that. Hopefully I can get this portion done before the next skein of yarn will come around.
It's a pretty color.
Thank you. It'll come around Valentine's Day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that'll be nice.
Nice little treat.
Yeah. Sure.
Those are it. Those are my whips for the week. For this
Right.
podcast. We'll see what tomorrow brings.
Sounds good. All right, what else? Well, we were talking about doing a KAL again, and we're thinking.
It's actually Darlene's fault. You guys really should just call her out on this. She tagged us
Okay.
all on Facebook.
She did.
That's right, she did. She tagged us on Facebook, and it started us talking, and we decided that we would open it up to all of you too, and maybe we could do a KAL for a cardigan.
Yes.
Kind of what started it was Darlene saw the Susanna IC patterns on the Facebook group. I guess they're doing a knit along.
These are all Susanna IC's patterns, and she had posted on Facebook that her group is doing a cardigan along. And so Darlene tagged us, the three of us on that post, saying, let's do it. Let's do
Darlene
it.
says to do something, we're gonna do it.
When Bags by Awesome Granny tells you this is what you need to do,
Yes.
you just kind of drop everything.
Yes, forget all of our wit.
And Susanna IC used to live in Texas, so we all know her. So we've been to retreats with her and stuff. She's just a lovely lady.
Very lovely.
And she's doing a full cardigan KAL in her group. These are just some pictures of some of hers, but we're going to open it up to any cardigan that
Floats your boat.
whatever floats your boat. Yeah, just get it up.
Any weight, any
weights,
designer.
any designer.
Could be a whip.
Yeah,
If you've
whip,
already
sure.
started.
I'm totally.
If you
enough
have that
with
whip
there.
from 2017 that you need to pull out, I mean, come on, pull it out. It's, perfectly fine.
So we're gonna start February, technically start, but you can just pick your whip up again, starting February 1st, which is tomorrow. And we're gonna run through probably Memorial Day,
Yes.
like into May
Mhm.
timeframe, but we're thinking
Yeah.
Memorial Day.
Mhm.
And
And we're gonna have prizes.
prizes, so at least, 2 prizes. One is a gift from Hoagie & Co. that I got that's a leather cuff. It's their wrist cuff, which has a little pocket. I don't know if you've seen these or not. That you can put like stitch markers or a tape measure.
And then
in
have it
there.
around your wrist as
Yep.
you're knitting.
And then
Nice wrist.
it snaps. Or you could use it, as Melissa pointed out, you could also use it as a shawl cuff, would be really cute. And
Yes.
it's in a leather, it's a pink metallic leather. So
Very
that,
nice.
that will be part of the prize, along with something else from Hoagie & Co.
I feel like
that I got a
carrying
while
my
ago, I've been
list.
hanging on to. I know these two keep telling me, they're making me feel guilty.
She better not send us home with it to ship out to anybody, because it's
These
not
are
happening.
the stainless, I believe they're stainless steel. I keep moving on the card, but they're the knit and purl, the K and P.
One says K, one says P.
I'm trying to straighten them.
They're
Earrings.
very cute.
So they're earrings, and I actually have mine on today. So those will be prized, along with a bag that is going to be made by me. It will involve probably some wax canvas. I'm designing it. I have an idea in my head, and maybe we'll be revealing it as we go along in this house.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, yeah, absolutely.
And who knows what else we'll come up
I'm
with, but
excited
there'll
to
be
see
some good
how-
prizes.
How the wax canvas, I've never worked with wax canvas, so that's.
Oh, I've done it, it's nice, it's fun.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That sounds like fun.
So we may have more than one prize, depending, I don't know. I love to do prizes, so I don't know.
course.
Sometimes since I can't buy yarn for myself, I may buy skein yarn to support maybe a minority owned business,
Sure.
something
And
like
then-
that. We may include that.
Mhm.
So we may split it up and have a
Because
couple
it's not
prizes.
breaking your yarn out if you're
No,
buying it
no,
as a prize.
no.
Exactly.
Of course not.
Exactly.
I want to show, we're all going to make this lead bird.
Mhm.
Darlene's making it too. Don't think that she wrangled this in here and she's not making it as well. So this is the one that we picked. It is a Susanna IC, but again, any designer, any pattern, any cardigan. I'm using the Pearl 10 colorway.
So pretty.
So rich.
Rios?
Rios, Malabrigo Rios.
Malabrigo Rios and the Pearl 10.
So that's going to be
So everyone can get a good laugh out of this, but I have some yarn in my stash that I've had forever.
Really?
Yeah, that I got on clearance. No, this is like ancient stash.
I have yarn in my stash from 2009.
Well, I call this my dinosaur.
Okay, that's your dinosaur.
And I don't even really like it that much. I like the color, but it's that Fisherman's Wool by Lion Brand. And I mean, I got it on clearance for $6.59, and I probably had a coupon on top of it. I have so much of it. So I said I would do it if I could use this yarn, and it will get gauge.
I've used
So-
Fisherman's Wool and it gives a beautiful stitch definition. Your cables are gonna
Yeah.
pop in that. They're gonna be so gorgeous.
So I'll be happy to get this out of my
Stash.
yarn room, and yeah, have a sweater that I can just throw on.
Sure.
So I'm anxious for that. So I'm happy about it.
Last time we podcast, I'm like, I don't think I have enough yarn of that weight in my stash. And then
But
I'm
somebody did.
like, yeah, I'm like, can I rescue some yarn from your stash? So does that count as stash enhancement? Does that count as me buying yarn?
No, it's
I
a
don't
stash
know.
slide.
It's a stash.
Oh,
Okay.
there we go. Good
Okay.
job.
Yep.
So
Stash slide. All right.
I-
We're gonna make a dance out of this now. Slide to the left. Now slide to the right.
so I adopted this from Carrie's
She
stash.
did. Malabrigo Rios. I had enough. 10 skeins.
This is called again. I can't pronounce things
I-
correct.
Cereza.
So mine will be this color.
Beautiful burgundy red.
I made my dad a
pretty.
Ranger cardigan in that red, and he loved it.
That's one of my most favorite
Mhm.
reds.
And after wearing this, I'm super excited to have a cardigan.
I love Malabrigo Rios. I have a lot of it in stash. Darlene will be using Malabrigo Rios as well. She's using the Frank Ochre colorway, which is like a mustard yellowy orange. It's a beautiful mustard yellow like color. So she'll be doing that. Maybe we'll get her on the podcast to show her progress.
Yes, that would be fun.
Oh, that would be good.
Yes. We're calling you out.
So we hope you'll think about it and join us.
Yes,
And
yes.
like I said, we're going to have some fun prizes. We'll have details in the Ravelry group.
We will.
And
I'll have a chat thread and we'll have a finished object thread. Yeah.
So if you have a sweater or a cardigan that you really wanted to finish, hopefully this will motivate you to
Of course, yes.
pull it out of
Come on,
your...
pull it out. Pull it out. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
And we'll
finish.
post some pictures, progress pictures and things on Instagram. And if you see it and you want to share it with people, that's great too. Helps us. So point them our way. Appreciate that.
Everybody's welcome.
Yeah, for sure. All right. What else?
I have a chip and trick.
Okay.
Do we have stash and answers?
Oh.
Oh yeah, show that.
Okay. Darlene had a sale a while back.
Bags by Awesome Granny.
Yeah,
Bags
For
by
those who
Awesome
don't know who
Granny.
Darlene
I
is.
don't know if you know who she is. Anyways.
Every bag I just had the project in is a bag spot.
I forgot who texted me. I think it was either my mom or Tammy texted me saying, "Oh, she's got a sale going on," and I'm like, "Ooh."
That was a hard one to resist, but I did.
You're so good at this item.
And I've had my eye on this one for a while.
I know that's one of her
I have
best sellers.
that bag, and it reminds me of, because all the fireflies, it reminds me of growing up in Michigan, and when we would go camping in the summer, and the sky was just full of the fireflies.
When we lived in Seguin on the lake, on the river, it wasn't really a lake. We would get fireflies as well.
It's such
That
a
was
sweet
really
bag.
Sweet. And then she sent this one because she felt bad it took so long to get out. And you don't have to worry about it. It sounds good.
Well, she do such a great job. That's Darlene's husband. He's got the little girl just perfectly.
He does all the
aligned
cutting,
here.
right?
He does all the sewing.
The sewing too.
He's very good. Very
He's the labor.
Mr. Bags for Awesome Granny.
Mr. Bags.
That's all.
That's beautiful. Very beautiful. I don't have any stash enhancements.
I'm so proud
Good
of
job.
you. So proud of you.
Oh my, it's hard. It's really hard.
Withdrawal.
I have consumed a lot of Diet Coke in lieu of buying yarn, let me tell you.
Good job. Good job. Good job. So I had a friend contact me. She's a lifelong crocheter, but prior to COVID, she joined the knitting group at my work with Darlene and myself, and we taught her how to knit. And of course, some YouTube things and everything. And she wanted to make a nice stole for, I think it's her cousin, for a wedding gift.
Oh.
And she picked the botanical lace pattern from Pearl Soho, I think. It's a free pattern. And she was having some trouble getting it started. So she had contacted me, and I have a picture that Audrey can insert here. She contacted me and said, can you just get it started? Just like a couple of repeats, which it's a 24-row repeat, so like 48 rows. And so I was thinking, like, how can I help her? She's kind of new to lace. She's made a wallaby. She's done some different things. She's doing real good. She's done a little bit of lace, but not something that's so lace intensive. And I'm not a big lace person. I don't think I'm very good at it, and it's not my bread and butter. I prefer to just sit and chill and not have the challenge. However, what I did do was I gave her a project holder, and you don't have to like buy a specific project holder. You can just get like a sheet protector. They sell it at an office supply store.
You got this at the office supply?
No, I bought
This
this.
is so cool.
I bought this years ago. Honestly, I think I probably bought them at Loopy U. I don't know what they're called, but I do know that Jimmy Bean's Wool has some Delaque ones coming out in like a forest green and a red and a mustard, which will probably end up in my cart at some point. I think they're coming out end of February. But I also have like highlighter tape, or you can get, here's like just highlighter tape, or you can get
tape as well.
yeah, or a dry erase marker. Or you can mark on it with dry erase and then wipe it off. I mean, it's just plastic.
Yeah.
And so this is a free pattern. This is the slip stitch dishcloth that I'm making for Paige. So I just like highlight I don't have to do row 1 anymore. I'm just repeating rows 2 through 5. So I have a piece of tape on every other row so that I have it highlighted and I know where I am. So I gave her one of these and I told her to print out her pattern and she can put it in one of these things and then, you know, just use some highlighter tape and highlight every other one. Or again, like a marker, a dry erase marker or whatever, like I have here. This is the blanket pattern, so I have it marked so I know what, you know, which row I'm on and things of that nature. So I just thought that was like a little bit helpful in case anybody hasn't, you know, is new to lace, or I know that there's lots of apps. I have the Knit Companion app as well, and there's some people are not as app savvy and some people are really app savvy, so there's apps that will help you along in your lace journey. But I thought sometimes I'll put like a post-it note on top of the holder and I'll just tick mark, you know, what row I'm on or what have you. So it was just like
that's really nice.
Yeah.
An extra.
Very helpful. I have a tip too. So I've knit patterns before where we'll say you're knitting something in the round or you're knitting something and it says, okay, increase 10 stitches evenly over your round, and maybe you're doing, maybe you have 100 stitches and you need to go to 110. And you're like, well, why can't you tell me how many stitches to stitch, to knit, and then do an increase, and then how many, and keep repeating it. But some designers just put in increase, evenly around your round.
I think Roko does it. Some of the bigger.
And so I was like, how do you figure it out? Math, I have a math brain, so I could figure it out. But I'm like, to most people, it can be, a little confusing and a little off-putting sometimes. So I started looking into like knitting calculators, and one that I found that was really good is by worldknits.com. And you basically put in what your current stitch count is, and then the number of increases or what your final count is going to be, and then it tells you how to increase evenly around.
It'll like write it out, like even if it's a decrease, like knit, crease, slip, knit, whatever.
So it's really nice. So I would encourage people to look at that if you're having to do that kind of thing. It's really helpful.
Don't do math well.
Or you don't do math well.
And some people don't do math
well. Or you
well.
just don't want to do it.
No, I get it.
Sometimes
I always think, well, that's easy, but then you've got to remember, you've got it's like you're in the round and you've got the 10 at the beginning and the 10 at the end. Well, now you've got 20 in a row that you didn't have an increase on, and all these increased at 10. So it can be off-putting, but
especially if you're like really OCD about that. Even like non-knitters won't even notice that much. Yeah, that'll be worldknits.com.
So one of the other things that we're trying to do in the podcast is to bring you different tips and maybe talk about different techniques and things. So we're going to ask a favor of y'all. If you wouldn't mind giving us some feedback on types of things that you're looking for guidance on, whether it's a certain technique or you're looking for a tip on something, needle tips, whatever it might be.
What do you want to know?
What do you want to know? If you could leave us comments either in our Ravelry or just reach out to one of us or put it in
the
comments down below, that's fine too. We want to try to interact and improve the content of the podcast. So
of course,
that's our goal. So if you give us some ideas, we'll give it back to you.
Or just questions like, how many dogs does Carrie have?
Personal questions too.
Absolutely. I'm an open book. Ask me anything.
Oh, speaking of dogs, this is kind of cute. My parents, I hurt my knee again. I have a bad knee, and I aggravated my previous injuries from a couple of years ago, so I haven't been able to walk the dogs. So my parents have been walking the dogs, and they walked them this morning, and my mom came back, and we have a church that's like just outside of our subdivision, and we often will walk around that pathway, and there's a field there and what have you, and they always have a service outside right now because of COVID. And my mom said she talked to, I think it was the pastor, and he said, "Oh, you should come. You should come on Sunday. You just have to bring your chairs and you can bring your dogs."
Oh, nice.
Oh, great! That's cracking up. They said, "Bring your dogs. People bring their dogs to the service."
I think that's so cute.
Wouldn't that be fun? I'm like, oh, maybe we should just try it with one. We have 3 dogs. I'm like, let's just try it with one to see how it goes.
But how do you pick the one? Seriously.
It probably would be either Sullivan or Jackson. Because Griffin is the smallest one, and he is the middle in age. He's very intense.
Speaking of dogs,
Sorry.
that's Creed. Audrey
Yeah.
and Antonio are coming in over there, so my grandson's here today while we podcast, and Audrey has been nice enough to keep him entertained over there.
So anyway, Griffin, my middle dog, he's a cockapoo, half poodle, half cocker spaniel, but he demands attention, and so he thinks everyone has to be petting him and oohing and eyeing over him the entire time. So I don't think I would take him because I think he would be crying.
I think he's perfect.
He would love
That's
it.
me.
Jackson or Sullivan, they're just kind of like low key, and they just
Sure.
kind of lay there and hang out and be like, yeah, it's cool. You know? So, do we get treats at the end? That's what they would be thinking. But anyway, I thought that was just so funny.
It is cute. It is cute. That is neat.
Just bring your dog.
Just
bring
bring your
your dog.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay. You're gonna have to let us know now if you
I
go.
know, we probably will, because it's literally, like I said, it's, a block away. It's
Sure.
kind of cute. So. And the church is called St. Elizabeth. That's really so when we moved to the subdivision, I go, look at that sign right there by the subdivision. I said, that's a sign that we're supposed to be here.
live here. Yeah.
We always joke about that.
That's cute.
I go, I'm a saint.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think that's pushing it just a little
Audrey is
bit.
definitely going to give you a halo or something. And she told us not to say squirrels so much.
Oh. Yeah.
By the way, Audrey did amazing editing the last podcast, so I just wanted to tell her. Shout out and thank you. Audrey does all of the editing of our podcast, so if you love them, put a comment and say, hey Audrey, great job.
Yep,
So.
she's my 14-year-old who can't wait to drive.
Well, we appreciate her taking on our technology for us. So
She does a great job.
Yes.
we let her kind of have
And
free
she-
reign.
I just, before the podcast, I'm like, Carrie's going to ask me to take pictures, to have pictures on my Ravelry, because Carrie does all the Ravelry
I do the
stuff.
notes. Yeah, I do the show notes.
So I took her out, I'm like, take my picture for my Ravelry page, and she's
Mhm.
all
Put
put
her
filters on, and I'm like, okay, give me eyebrows. Like, get rid of my double chin.
That's the hard one there.
Yep. So, yeah, she's my technical child. Well, Dylan's pretty technical. He wants
Yeah.
to go for computer sciences for college.
That would be awesome. I think you'd be good at it too.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Great.
that's all we had, I think.
Yeah, anything else?
I don't think so.
I ordered a Peloton.
I can't wait till she
Excited
gets
about
it.
that. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I was trying to think of something that my parents could also use. And so I actually took them, and we went to the Peloton store in Austin at the Domain, and we booked an appointment, and it was really safe. They only, let somebody go in and cleaned everything, and the sales guy that we have is very, very good, because my parents, have a little trouble getting, my mom's really short, and have trouble, getting on the bike, but he was really good with them, and so I ordered one, pulled the plug on it. We'll see, I get it in March. So.
That's exciting.
I'm excited.
I would be
I don't know if any of you have Pelotons.
Fix that knee
or-
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping it's going to help just the mobility,
Of course.
so we'll see. But
Any
yeah,
movement is good movement.
Any movement is good movement.
So. But if anyone has a Peloton or any other kind of bike like that, and utilize their app or whatever, if you have good experience or bad experience, let me know.
I think you can friend people.
Yeah.
And do races with them and
Yeah.
stuff. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. A couple of the guys I work with have them, so that'll be interesting.
You should race them. Kick your butt.
Yeah.
That's not
That'll be fun.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. So once again, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
thanks. Have a good one. Hopefully we'll be back around, I don't know, Valentine's Day, a little bit after. I'm not sure if we'll podcast 2 weeks or 3 or whatever, but have a good one.
Okay.
Thank
Take
you
care.
for
Happy
watching.
knitting. Bye bye.
Bye.